What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Trending this year, the term mass formation psychosis. It was trending in a large amount. A lot of people tweeting about it. And while people were searching to find out what it was, I would first of all say you should be using DuckDuckGo at this point. But here's what happens if you're not. January 1st, Jack Posobiec and others were reporting we are watching them program the simulation in real time. It's like Neo in the Matrix and he sees the cat glitch before he walks up the stairs. You search mass formation psychosis at the time, and Jack Posobiec got a message. It looks like these results are changing quickly. I'm going to get into what mass formation psychosis is, but nothing like trying to debunk mass formation psychosis by changing your results in real time, Google. If this topic looks new, it can sometimes take time for results to be added by who we want reliable sources. Of course. And Reuters came through with the fact check on January 7th. Fact check, no evidence of pandemic mass formation psychosis, say experts speaking to Reuters. Nothing makes me more confident than the people who are a part of inducing mass formation psychosis, debunking mass information psychosis, and not really even debunking it, just saying that there's no evidence of it. No evidence of it does not mean it does not exist. It means that you can't prove it doesn't exist. So it's a theory, and it's funny the age we live in where Supreme Court justices can use verifiably, factually wrong information in one of the biggest oral arguments ever to reach the Supreme Court ever in our country. And me, just some random dude in his basement, I might get striked, removed, whatever. As soon as the term mass formation psychosis goes, there's an algorithm, an alarm going off. Google headquarters like, a random dude is trying to use the term mass formation psychosis. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Mass formation psychosis or mass hypnosis is the madness of crowds. This is a theory. Dr. Robert Malone learned this from Dr. Desmet, who realized that this form of mass hypnosis, the madness of crowds, can account for a strange phenomenon in about 20 to 30% of the population in the Western world, where, let me paraphrase here, where people, this 20 to 30% of the population, can become entranced and believe anything that they are told by the same verifiable sources that Google and YouTube use. So basically, imagine you watching CNN and you believe everything that they say without question. They're hypnotized by this process. They're unable to recognize that there could be lies. I'm not going to make any definitive statements here. But it's possible there are lies on CNN. It's a greater than 0% chance. Lies, misrepresentations that we're being bombarded with potentially on a daily basis. They're unable to view the contradictory points and statistics when presented with them. So you could have family members, social networks being torn apart by this. It can cause deep anguish. The conditions to set this theory up of mass formation psychosis include a lack of social connectedness and sense-making, as well as large amounts of latent anxiety and passive aggression. This is something that we're facing right now in real time like never before, a lack of social connectedness. We looked at Australia locking down. Right now, they're locking down anyone who is unV'd, the unwashed. We saw lockdowns across the globe, V'd or not, or even before the V as well. That just increases that lack of connectedness, increases the possibility of this theory. This is just a fancy way of saying people are becoming mental zombies. As mass formation progresses, the group becomes increasingly bonded and connected. When someone becomes a zombie, in the zombie movies, you can't bring them back. In this, it's very hard. You can, it's possible, but it's very difficult. So my theory is focus on those who aren't converted to zombies yet. Remember, this theory says only 20 to 30% of the population is in this zombie group. There's a lot of people to be won over, or not even won over, but to show them another way. Mass formation psychosis, possibly. Not going to make any definitive statements so YouTube doesn't think I'm overreaching my steps. But it might be if you're in a long line getting tested and you have nothing more than the sniffles or you don't have any symptoms. It's possible. What's the verdict from Reuters? Missing context. So their article didn't say false or true on the term mass formation psychosis. They said it's missing context. They said there's no evidence to suggest a mass formation psychosis has occurred during the pandemic. The term is not recognized among academics. And modern research into crowd psychology has shown that crowds do not behave in mindless or non-individualistic ways. Oh, that's a very interesting fact check. My feedback for Reuters is if you can't come back with a definitive true or false, don't waste my time. You haven't done anything. How about this? Is this term post-pandemic stress disorder, which is used to describe up to 300 people facing heart-related illnesses? Is that a real term, Reuters? They didn't do a fact check on that one. We've seen footballers dropping like flies, and Reuters did fact checks. Their fact check said FIFA's unaware. That's not a fact check, Reuters. Let's let them know. We want to know. This is it. Let them know this is your notification that you're aware that people think there's an issue. Look into it and get back to us. They did 2 of these nonsensical fact checks. They said 108 FIFA players, what happened to them? They didn't list it in the headline, but list of 108 FIFA players is not proof of anything. Well, I'm not claiming that there's proof of anything. I'm just wondering why you haven't looked into it. Look into it and come back with a definitive yes or no. That hasn't happened. It might be mass formation psychosis if you are led to believe that something is what it was not just a year ago. When they're changing the definition of things to fit what it is, to fit a narrative, that might be a problem. Ethan Klein would be proud of Stephen Nolan, BBC radio presenter on the left, calls one of the greatest tennis players of all time. I used to play tennis in high school. One of my favorite players. He reminds me of Andre Agassi. Novak Djokovic on the right, a threat to health services. Huh? You know what? In a couple years, when I'm on version 10 of this injection or whatever they call it, and I still catch this thing, I want you to know, YouTube and everybody else, I am grateful for the protection that my overlord's vaccine provides. Thank you. Let me know what you think. Take care.